acceleration. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing the all-new 2022 Lexus NX, and this one has the 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Before we get into the video though, first and foremost, I do want to mention if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 275 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over the front end of the new NX, and this one is in the F Sport package. First off, I love this blue. As always, it is beautiful. You guys can see the metallic flake here in the sun just looks absolutely fantastic, especially with this kind of like U-shaped line that goes across the hood on the NX. Coming down below, you guys can see here with the daytime running light, and then with the new style for the headlights, definitely looks really modern and sharp. And then notice how this trim piece here is all blacked out, and then you've got the fog light there at the bottom. Parking sensors integrated into the front. Notice with the Lexus logo, you do have a camera there down below the logo. And yeah, the contrast between the blue and the darker elements looks really good. And I definitely love the overall front end of the new NX. Now, coming around the side here, the tire and wheel setup is 235/50/20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the wheels also all blacked out to go along with the sporty theme here on the F Sport package. And then something else that I love is how the fender flares are actually body painted. That looks really high end. And then also we got our F Sport logo. Mirrors have been blacked out. Notice on top of the door handles where a lot of automakers will put chrome trim, they've put blacked out trim here. And then you guys can see the trim on the windows has been darkened. You got the rails there on the top of the roof. And here's your full side view. Just look at like the sharp lines that go across. Again, I think it looks really good. Here's a key fob for the NX. You guys can see you've got the lock function, the unlock function, and the opening here for the hatch. You got the Lexus logo there on the back. You can spam the lock button a couple times and then hold it down. That'll do the remote start. Anyways, holding this down, you guys can see we've got the trunk area here in the NX. It is quite spacious. And then notice here, even more storage space down below. And yeah, overall, I think that it's a pretty practical SUV. Again, it's not massive, but the cargo area is actually super solid. And then when you are done, you can press this to lock it, or you can just press that to lower down the hatch. And there you go. Now, finishing things up with the rest of the rear, I love the rear of the NX. You've got the normal Lexus check mark taillights to mimic the logo, but then you've got this little light bar here in the center. It just looks so cool. Lexus logo, I love the new style on that. And then notice the NX 350 all-wheel drive badge. And then you guys can see here with the exhaust tip, it's kind of hiding there down below. They don't want it like prominently popping out because it would get in the way of the flowy design here on the NX. And look how the fenders kind of pop out a little bit there in the rear again. Just looks really cool. Now here is the door panel in the rear. You guys can see with the leather trim down below. Look at the contrasted stitching that goes across. And then this does have an electronic release. So you guys probably noticed, press a button and then you kind of pull it. So it's not like a handle where you like normally pull it basically. And then you guys can see the whole like emergency setup right there. So you just pull it twice if it doesn't open, if the battery's dead. Window control here. Speakers for the Mark Levinson sound system, which is really solid sound system, especially for this car. Again, it's not really huge, the car itself, and so you don't need like a crazy sound system to make it sound good. Anyways, notice here with the seats, you've got the black leather perforated all down the center. And then if I pop in, you can see legroom, headroom. Notice the storage pocket right there. And then you guys can see here with the vents, and then notice the USBs down below that. And then of course, we got our good old cup holder armrest, and well, let's head to the front. Now here's our front door panel. You guys can see again with the leather and then all of the stitching that goes throughout, and then another speaker for the Mark Levinson sound system. We do have blind spot monitoring for the mirrors. All of our window controls right here with the mirror adjustments, and the mirrors do power fold in, and then again, same thing with the door handle at the front. Got our F Sport logo. And then here is the front seat. Notice it has F there on the headrest because again, F Sport. And then you can see the design here on the seat itself. Go over to the passenger side so you guys can see it a little bit better. Looks really cool from an aesthetic perspective. And then we do have power adjustments here on the side of the seat. And then look at the pedals. Really nice with the finish there. That's for the hatch, that's for the gas cap release. Steering wheel is power adjustable. Let's pop in. So here's the steering wheel with the NX. You guys can see the leather trim at the top, and then at the bottom notice we got our F Sport logo, and then it's perforated here on these sides. You can get a slightly better grip. Contrasted stitching. Got paddle shifters here on the back for that 8-speed automatic, and then notice the pages button and then the volume controls as well. And then we do have our cruise control on top of that, and then you guys can see here with the turn signal, light stock, windshield wiper stock, and well, there's the steering wheel. So here is the center gauge cluster. You guys can see digital gauge cluster, and it has like all the information you need, like how much fuel you have, right, your range, all that kind of stuff, what's happening with the safety tech, and of course, boost gauge there in the center. Now, we do have some different drive modes we can go through. So you guys can see popping it there, we've got our eco mode, and then if I pull it more to the side, it doesn't do anything. If I press in, then we've got a normal mode, and then there is a custom mode, and notice that changes between those. And we have a sport, and we have a sport plus, and notice how you got like the RPMs there across in like race car format. Pretty cool setup overall. I definitely love the digital gauge cluster. Now there is also a heads up display right here. So when I press the pages button, it actually lets me change stuff with the heads up display, which is pretty cool. And so they've kind of integrated quite a bit into that little heads up display. So here is the center infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. We do have a camera system. Notice we've got the bird's eye view and then the backup camera, but that's not all. If I start to reverse, it'll slowly fill in. Hopefully I have enough space in my driveway. But basically it shows you an underneath view there with the camera, which I don't know, I think that's a pretty cool feature. But I definitely love Toyota's new camera system overall. Again, having the underneath view and then 360 view, everything, it's just fantastic. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's pretty easy to use. You have a shortcut bar here on the side, which you can just go into different bits of info, like you can see fuel economy, for example, with the car right now. Pretty easy to use. I'm glad that the whole climate section is here at the bottom, where you can always just press the control. So like with the ventilated seat, I can just easily access the seat, and it does have automatic seats as well as automatic climate controls, which makes things easy. I love the fan speed button, how you can just drag it, but then you can also press the buttons if you want. And then I love the temperature gauges. They just, I don't know, it all looks cool. But there's that section, and then also you guys can see analog controls for like the radio, all that. So we've got more nice leather trim down here, and then notice the drive mode select button, and then you guys can see the wireless phone charging / USB area. A couple cup holders right here. We've got the shifter for the 8-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift function. Again, got the paddles for that. We've got our auto hold right here with the auto stop start, and then notice the hill descent control, parking brake, and then this is kind of like an off-road mode. It'll show up right there, basically. Stability control, and then you can see here with the center console, it's definitely pretty spacious, that is for sure. Again, I love the leather padding on top of it. And then same with the glove box, lined with felt. That definitely brings things up. And then the dash is all padded. And then finally, up top we do have a panoramic sunroof. Got the controls for the sunroof, and then here's the mirror, and there you go. So here's a window sticker for this Lexus NX. You guys can see again, 2022 NX 350 F Sport. Now here is the standard equipment on the NX 350 F Sport. Base MSRP $46,650. Now there are some options added to this particular one, like the F Sport Handling Luxury package. It's a pretty interesting name, $2,200 for that. But anyways, after all options, you can see this one stickers for $55,510. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood. Hopefully you can now see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Oh, we are setting off here in the Lexus NX. And, well, first off, let's talk about road noise and ride quality, and then seat comfort. So, from a road noise perspective, it's right where it needs to be. You hear a little bit of tire noise, and that's kind of expected in just this segment, because a lot of these luxury makers like to use massive wheels, and you know, sometimes they're just a little bit noisy, but it's not bad by any means. It's pretty normal. Ride quality is really good. Lexus is just amazing at making vehicles that just ride so smooth, and this is no exception. And in terms of seat comfort, that's another thing that Lexus is really good at. They're good at making very comfortable seats that are good over long journeys. Acceleration. It's pretty dang good. This new engine is fantastic, especially when you compare it to the previous engine you had in the NX. Like the old NX looked sporty, but it did not drive sporty. This, on the other hand, actually drives sporty. Like it actually kind of like lives up to its looks, which I think is just so, like, it's perfect. Like before, like you'd buy a Lexus NX over like a BMW or a Mercedes or an Audi because, well, it was the safe, reliable car to go for. Whereas now, it's not only the safe, reliable car, but then it's also a fun, sporty driving car as well. And I will be making like a separate...
Sorry, the network is currently busy.
So I guess that this thing thought that I was trying to talk to it, and so it interrupted me. What I was saying is I will be making a video in the near future talking about this engine a little bit more in depth, because they are going to be most likely putting this in the 4Runner. And so like, that's why I feel confident with saying like powertrain's going to be reliable, because like Toyota needs to make sure of that, because again, 4Runner, it's a very important vehicle for them. Another stuff, I love the steering wheel grip. Like you got these nice finger grips on the back, which feel fantastic. Actually gonna pop into the manual mode. Yeah, that 8-speed is very, very responsive. Wow. Yeah, the 8-speed's like, look at the downshifts. This feels more like an old school turbocharged car in a sense. See if I can pop an automatic. Yeah, so hold down the plus paddle, that'll pop back into automatic. Yeah, you've got like, it's got good low end torque, but then you kind of like that turbo lag, and then it kind of, it feels kind of like an old school turbo car. That is for sure. I kind of like that, because a lot of automakers are trying to hide the fact that their cars are turbocharged. And then these train tracks aren't great. The ones later on will be a little bit better. And when I say great, I mean I'm talking about like showing the ride quality, but still pretty solid overall. But yeah, let's get into summing things up, and then we'll see how the NX suspension performs over the bigger train tracks that, yes, you can catch air on them. We're not going to be doing that in today's video, though. I think that the new aesthetics are just fantastic. Like the old NX, I thought was a good looking car. I didn't have any problems with it. But this new one looks way better. Like it's crazy. Lexus is just amazing at making just good looking cars, that is for sure. And then from an interior perspective, again, I think it's amazing. I think they did a really good job with the design of this new interior. It has like this driver-centric cockpit. Notice how the infotainment system's kind of faced towards the driver, and so I don't know. It feels cool. I feel like I'm in like a futuristic type vehicle. And like I said, seat comfort is amazing. This is something that I'd say BMW definitely needs to take some notes, because these seats are like, they look cool, but then they're also like just so comfortable. They're not hard whatsoever, which is great. And then driving, the NX finally feels sporty. The steering, like, I know that's not a great example, but you know, steering feels great. Like everything feels very well dialed in for being like a little sporty crossover. And well, now we gotta see how this does over the train tracks. Boom. Yeah, really good, actually, really good. So here's what I have to say is, yeah, for the mid $50,000 range for a performance luxury, you know, smaller size crossover, I think that Lexus knocked it out of the park. And this is the SUV in this segment that I personally would purchase if I was, again, looking for a smaller crossover, luxury crossover, right, that has a little bit of performance. Because like, I feel I don't have like the same stress with this car as I would have with like a BMW or Mercedes or Audi, where I'm going to be worried about electronics going haywire. Like this, I feel like I could just drive it, enjoy it, and that's it. There you go. Let me know what you guys think about the new NX. Now that's going to sum things up for our video on the 2022 Lexus NX. With that being said, I will see all of you in that next video.